Hi everybody, my name is Griffin Solot-Kale and I'm a developer advocate here at Dolby.io. Today we're going to get started building our first application using the Transcode API. To get started, I just have an empty folder open on my code editor of choice, and on the right I have the docs.dolby.io website over here. This is a media API, so we're going to go down and click Get Started under Media APIs. For those of you who don't know, the media APIs are designed to make your audio better at scale, where we have a selection of different APIs that are designed to either provide quality insights, such as analyze, diagnose, and analyze speech, or make actual changes to your audio files themselves, such as enhance, music mastering, and what we're going to be using today in Transcode. Let's click the square for the Transcode API over here. The Transcode API is a tool that's going to allow you to convert your media files to alternate different encoding formats and help you optimize content for whatever network conditions or devices you might be using. This can do things such as change the file type, add different thumbnail images, put on overlays, and do a lot of other really cool things. I do want to scroll down so you can take a look at all the different options and tutorials that we have, but more importantly, take a look at all the different supported formats that we have, where we can make things in areas such as MP4 files, WAV files, images, and so on, depending on whatever different codec is important to you. Now, to get started, let's go back up to the top and click on Getting Started to view our Getting Started guide. To begin, we need to go to step 1, get your API key. To do this, you can go up to the top right and click on the dashboard button over here, which is going to prompt you to either log in or sign up for a new Dolby.io account, which I suggest you do right now. I already have one pulled up on another tab over here on my dashboard, where you're going to see something that looks just like this. Under the Applications tab over here, what we want to do is we want to add a new application, which will generate a new API key for us. I'm going to call this one Transcode Video, just so I know which one it is. This is very important so you can do things such as rotate your API keys, or just be able to figure out where all these different API calls are coming from in terms of which application they're all generated from. Now that that's been created, we can see that we have the Transcode Video app over here, and we can click on Get API Keys right here, which is going to show us the API keys that are relevant to us right now. We have the Communication API keys at the top over here, which we will not be using, and we have the Media API keys on bottom, so make sure you keep that noted. I'm going to keep this tab open and continue on to the next part of our Getting Started guide. Next, we want to prepare our media. We have a couple of different options for you to prepare your media. You can either use a publicly accessible file on the internet, use a cloud storage provider such as AWS S3, Microsoft Azure Blob Storage, or GCP Cloud Storage, or use the Dolby Temporary Storage where you can upload local files temporarily to our own servers. But for this example, we're going to be using a publicly accessible video file. I have one right here that just shows a nice video of somebody playing on this wonderful horse sculpture right here.
Oh, there you go. You got it. Cute.
We just want to try converting this video into a WAV file so we can only pull the audio from it because we don't need the whole video. So let's continue down. And here we actually are going to get started coding. In this example, we will be using Python, but we can use whatever language we want, including JavaScript, curl, or any language that will support REST-based API calls. What we can do is we can click on the copy button under this code sample. We can go back over to our code editor, and I'm going to create a new file called transcode.py. Just going to paste all that code directly in here, and we can very quickly kind of figure out what's going on over here. The first thing is we're importing OS, which is going to allow us to play with environment variables, and we're also importing requests, which you should pip install if you have not already. This is what allows us to actually make the calls to the internet, so we can do an API call itself outside of just the local Python environment. Next, we have the URL, which is calling the transcode endpoint. We are going to keep that the same. And then we have the first thing we need to configure. So we have this X API key section where we're actually calling environment variable. So while you could replace this with your own API key, what we're going to do is we're actually going to set a temporary environment variable within our terminal so that we don't have to copy and paste it every single time. So I'm going to go into my terminal down here, and I'm going to type in export, and then I'm going to paste in that Dolby.io API key. Make sure that you keep the case and the underscores exactly the same. I'm going to type in equals, open a quotation mark. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. I'm going to copy the API key. I'm going to paste it in, close the quotes, and press enter. Now, every single time we call the API within this terminal instance, it's going to know that that is our API key. Next, we have the body, where we have the inputs, where you can put in as many different inputs as you want. In this case, we are just going to be working with one, but you can see how there's a different object going on here where you can add as many objects as you want. I'm going to take this URL we have over here, and I'm going to replace the source that we have going on over there with the one that we just had. Under outputs, this is where we can define how we actually want it to be. The destination is going to be the temporary Dolby storage that we're actually going to be hosting the file inside of. For this case, I'm just going to call it DLB : // This part is important. You need to keep it. And then out, and then I'm just going to call it outdoors transcoded.wav because we want to convert this to a WAV file. Under kind, this is where we switch it to a WAV, so we're not just changing the file name, we're actually changing what it is encoded as. And then for ID, we're going to just call it new wave. You can call it whatever you want, whatever is going to make it easier for you to differentiate everything. Everything else can stay the same, so let's save this file, and let's go back down into our terminal, and let's type in Python 3 transcode.py. Great. So what we see now is we see that it has created a little output over here. This is going to be our job ID that we're going to reference in the future. So let's continue on to the next step in our Getting Started guide. So next we want to actually check the job status itself. So every single one of these different calls is asynchronous, so you actually need to know if it's done or not, because sometimes it can take a long time depending on the size of the file you're transcoding. So once again, let's copy this code sample we have over here. Let's go back to our code editor, and let's create a new file called status.py. I'm going to paste in that code once more, and in this case, the only thing we need to change is in this param section, we want to copy the job ID that we have here in the output, and we want to replace the one that we have in here, and save. Everything else can stay the same, because we are calling everything as a get, we have the right thing, and we've already populated our API key inside of the environment variable. So now we can type in Python 3 status.py, and now it's going to say we have a success, and the progress is 100. So that means it's done. It's ready to be downloaded. If your file is longer, it might say in progress, or even throw an error if you did something wrong. So now let's actually download this file, where we can go over to step 5 and download and review media. Let's copy this code one last time, go back to our code editor, create a new file. Let's call it output.py. You can make these as your own functions instead of one file as well, and it's just a little bit easier to show it off this way. And in this case, what we want to do is we want to make sure that first we can choose this output path, which is going to be the name of the file we actually download. So let's call this one outdoors transcoded.wav. And then we also have the param section over here. It's very important that we make this the same URL as we have in our initial transcode file. So we're going to go back over to that file. We're going to copy the destination section over here. And we're going to go back to output and replace the URL in here. So it's the exact same name. It's good because I actually said our doors instead of outdoors. So copying and pasting is very important for areas just like that. Let's save the file one last time and type in Python 3 output.py. And then it's going to start downloading that file directly into the created file folder that we have for it right now. You can see that we have outdoors transcoded.wav. We can drag that into our browser over here.
Oh, there you go. You got it. Cute. Oh.
And you can see that it's provided just the audio file in a WAV format for you and anything you else need in that area. Thank you so much for taking a look at this intro guide. My name is Griffin. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. We'd love for you to leave any requests you have down there, as well as reaching out to our support team, where we'd love to help you as well. That's it for this tutorial. My name is Griffin, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.